Welcome back to another Giant Hot Takes podcast, your home for the hottest takes about the San Francisco Giants. I'm your host, Jack, joined by my co-host, Jake. And pretty negative last couple series for the Giants. We apologize for not posting after the White Sox series. We know we've moved into school at great San Diego State University, so we were kind of getting settled in there. Started off with the White Sox, and we came into this back to 500 after a split with the A's, and just before we get into any games, Jake, really not a good spot for the Giants to be right now.
Not at all. I mean, back to 66 and 66, flat 500. After playing these teams, A's, White Sox, and the Mariners, you got to come out a lot more positive than we did. The game the Braves lost that we couldn't hang on to early on, it's really big, and our postseason odds are just going downhill. If the Braves keep winning and we keep losing, and every time they lose we can't win, there's just really nothing we can do. And it all starts down to the coaching staff,
Yeah, no, coaching staff's been horrible. We'll get into that a little bit later, but at the time of recording right now, you guys will see this. We were planning to post it today. 66 and 66, 12.5 back of the division, 5.5 back of the wild card game. I don't even know how many games are left. It might be under 30 now. So we got to play 5 games better in 30 games against the Braves. And the Mets are playing really good ball right now. Jesse Winker hit that walk-off bomb. That's just kind of electric stuff that we need to see from the Giants. Wasn't that pretty sick?
Yeah, we haven't seen much late-game life at all recently. Let alone runners in scoring position being terrible lately. There hasn't really been much life at all. It's been a couple early game shots, maybe a couple middle of the game, but every time the offense squares up and fights back, the pitching just can't stand in there.
It's horrible. We saw, I don't know if you guys saw the SF Giants memes last night. Jake sent it to me. It was like 3 little notches that you click, and it was like one's hitting, one's starting pitching, one's the bullpen, and you could have 2 turned on at one point. One
you can't have
off.
All 3.
No, and so
you can't have all 3.
That's kind of where we're at. And so, it's a pretty big. We had 14 days. It wasn't at home, but the A's kind of counts as at home, and so we had 5 games against the A's and the White Sox. I know we said we needed to go 4-1, thought it was possible to go 5-0. Split with the A's, probably should have lost both, just horrible stuff. Roll into the White Sox series. This team has 12 wins on the road this year. Going into this series, they're a joke. They just
30
lost,
and 96.
Yeah, like before this, they just lost their 100th game, like last night or whatever. And so this game, we start off Kyle Harrison. Kyle obviously had a pretty up and down year so far. Don't even know what version of Kyle you're gonna get. And so we start this game off. Kyle goes 6 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. I know I thought it was a step in the right direction for Kyle, just because I thought he looked pretty damn good. Mm-hmm. The fastball had some more life. What did you see from Kyle here? Just to start off on a positive note.
Going into this game, his last start, he was throwing 89, 91. First pitch of the game, 93 fastball. All right, we're in a step in the right direction. 5 strikeouts in 6 innings. As a strikeout pitching guy, you don't always love to see strikeouts lower than the innings pitched. But, if you're getting the job done, I don't see what the problem is with that. So, it is the White Sox. Their offense is the worst in the league. They can't hit with runners in scoring position as well. But, it all starts somewhere. So, Kyle still had a great outing, regardless of the team he's pitching against. Just stayed locked in, kept his head in the game at all points. 6 innings. Can't complain about that from the kid.
No, not at all. And then offensively looked pretty good. 12 hits. Started off a little
4
slow.
4 for 6 with runners in scoring position. Not as many as you'd want, but, that's capitalizing when they're there, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's a big shocker. And, got to shout out Kurt Casale. Kurt had a big hit to get things going there in that inning. It was a McRae bloop. Casale hit him in, and then Fitz roped that one down the left field line. Yep. It was like, wow, we're hitting with runners in scoring position. And then Chapman hit a bomb, big. 20th of the year. What has Chapman done for this team? He's been one of my favorite Giants this year by far.
He's top 10 in WAR this year amongst all players. The dude, he's great. Great defensively, great offensively. Leads the team in runs batted in. He's not he doesn't hit for average as much as you'd like him to, but how much can you really ask from a guy like him? He's a platinum glove caliber defender. He's got everything going for him. He makes solid contact with the ball a lot, high percentage with barrel control. The dude's a great ball player. even if he doesn't show up hitting, he's going to be there on the defensive side, and that's just a big part to have him help us win games.
Yeah, no, and his defense is incredible, and he's our best hitter this year, probably. I mean, Fitz is better, Ramos is better, but Chapman's just
He's been here.
Steady presence. He's been here all year.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's here for years to come. Giants win this game, saved by Jordan Hicks, which was good to see. He
was pumping.
He was pumping. He tried to mess around a little bit, pretty high stressing. I don't know if you saw after that. I think it was his first save as a Giant.
Yep.
Yeah, it was his first save as a Giant. I saw like the Twitter post. He was like waving to his mom on the way off. I wonder if he got a shot with Matt Chapman reffing in the locker room after that.
I mean, you'd hope so. I mean, how many games do you get to win? Might as well make the most of them count, because you don't get a lot of them out of the Giants organization, especially with Melvin coaching that team. Yeah. We'll get more into Melvin in a little bit, but yeah, I mean, great first game against the White Sox, closer than you'd like it to be, but great offensive game, and great from the starting pitching as well. So yeah, I mean, just as long as you win the game, that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, no, it's what you need against the White Sox. Rolling into game 2, obviously needed to win this one. Got Robbie Ray on the bump. This was his first start since that disaster that we experienced against the Braves. Ray looked really good. I'll tip my cap where it's needed to be tipped. He goes 6.2, 3 hits, 1 earned, strikes out 9. I mean, that's kind of the Robbie Ray we expected when he came to the Giants.
I mean, no walks. If you don't walk guys and you got stuff like he does, I mean, there's no reason you don't go get another Cy Young. I mean, 9 strikeouts and 6.2, 3 hits. I mean, what more could you ask for? 66 of 96 were strikes. Great ratio. Had a couple 3-2 counts, but I mean, as long as you get out of it in the positive way, there's really no complaining. I mean, 6.2 out of a guy like Ray, who can really be wild and pitch for a strikeout, is just more than you need to ask for. So I think he pitched a great game. Bullpen pitched outstanding, probably the best performance we've seen from them all year, if you ask me. I mean, no hits, no runs, no walks from the pen.
0 walks from anybody that game.
Yeah, no walks from anybody. Walker just comes in and just shuts the door as usual. I mean, he's got some stuff, and we're going to get into him for sure, too. Against the A's, looked absolutely amazing in some of those games. I mean,
struck out 5 that one game. I mean,
he is here, and Duvall is not getting that job back anytime soon, if you ask me.
He shouldn't. And, I like Duvall. He looked pretty good. We'll get into him a little bit later, but Walker's got to be here to stay. I mean, he is electric, dude. He came in this game, 11 pitches, 10 strikes. It's what you need out of a closer like that against a team like the White Sox.
He's got velo, too, man. He's got the velo.
He's got the velo. Pitching ninja, Rob Friedman. You guys should give him a follow. I mean, probably the most viral pitching account on X. I mean, I don't know if you saw his overlay between, it was the 98-mile-an-hour sinker that Walker throws, overlaid with his 84-mile-an-hour slider.
They're the same path till they're not.
It's crazy. God! I mean, if you guys haven't seen that tweet,
it's
you
like
guys
30 inches of difference.
And then, so we've touched on it this podcast a couple times before. This team can't sweep. I mean, these brooms are still locked in the dungeon, and so it's the White Sox. They're worse than the Rockies. Actually, that's the only team we've been able to sweep. So we roll into the last game, and Logan Webb. We'll start with Webb, and Webb goes 8 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts before any more blunders. How fun is it to see Logan Webb in a San Francisco Giants uniform?
It's the greatest, because he's the only true pitcher, the true classic pitcher that we got left in this game. I mean, he will go 9 innings multiple times every year. I mean, more than anybody else. His innings pitched, he's always leading the league. He's got that grit. I mean, he can throw 120 pitches in a game if you need the guy to. Probably should have put him in through the 9th. I mean, 93 pitches through 8 was looking really solid, but Melvin thought otherwise. And Eric Miller, you want to touch up on him and how he's been lately?
I'd love to talk about it. So usually, we got a sweep. Ryan Walker's thrown a lot and had been throwing a lot. He threw that 2 innings against the A's. He threw 11 pitches the night before. So Webb, 93 pitches. I will give Melvin a little bit on the Webb thing. Webb said he's been feeling a little under the weather. He was sick. Reasonable there. I find it hard to believe he pulled himself out of that game. So 2-2 ball game going into the 9th. We bring in Eric Miller, and I'm instant reaction. I'm like, oh shit, like this is not ideal. He starts it off, walks Luis Robert, who's one of the faster guys in the league. He's got 20 stolen bases. He instantly steals second. Walks another guy, gives up a hit, bases loaded. He struck out 1, got a guy to pop out, and then after that, we got a lot of good guys in this pen. You got Taylor Rogers, Walker, Tyler Rogers. I could go down the list. You guys can look at our roster. Hicks. And we decided to bring in Spencer Bivens with the bases juiced. Bivens gets rocked, man. Rocked. He gives up all 3 of Miller's runs, gives up 1 of his own. Giants lose this game 6-2. I mean, offense wasn't great, but this game's wholeheartedly on Melvin. Is that wrong to say?
No, I mean, Walker threw the night before, threw 2 innings against the A's. I mean, he's got the right to sit a couple. A game off is okay after you pitch 2 innings in 2 games. I mean, as a closer, what do you expect? You can't throw every single night. It's going to happen. But you got other guys here. Like, I think the Rogers-Webb 1-2, Taylor to be specific, he's the same stuff from the other side. I don't know why you don't go to that. I mean, they haven't been hitting him all game. He's coming out, could have gone longer under the weather. I say you keep similar stuff to him and go back to Rogers. I mean, he's had a great year this year. He can pitch for a strikeout. Eric Miller is known to walk guys, and you don't really want to get the leadoff runner on in the start of the 9th inning.
Especially Robert.
It's just not good. I mean, and then Bivens, young, not exactly young, but he's a rookie. Pitching under pressure is going to be hard, especially when you come in with the bases juiced. Hangs one down the middle, knocks it in for a base hit, another and another. I mean, it's hard to really put all the weight on this kid here. I mean, you got to go to some more veteran that's pitched in these kind of situations that knows how to get out of them.
Yeah, no, I don't really blame the guys. Eric Miller, Spencer Bivens, they're going to be dudes in this organization for a while.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Miller's looked really good this year. With our playoff lives are on the line. We win this game, we get back to 3 above before a pretty big road trip. And I just don't know that you throw a guy that struggles to throw strikes, who's a rookie, and Spencer Bivens in the 9th inning. Like, I saw a tweet that was like, I think ChatGPT could easily manage this game better than Melvin. And it's not... I hate to be the manager guy, but Melvin has lost us just in the past, just thinking off the top of my head, he lost us 2 Braves games. And it's rare that I say that a manager loses you games, but he has lost us games. We're 5 games back. He's probably lost us 4 or 5. This is a big one. You cannot be losing these games. Webb even said it after, that we can't be losing these games. And offense looked pretty bad. 6 hits, 12 strikeouts, but this is a game the Giants should have won for sure.
Most definitely. I mean, it's the White Sox at the end of the day. You still got to show up to the field. I mean, you can't just say, oh, we got a sweep. It's the White Sox. They got 30 wins on the season. Like, no, they're an MLB team. They're going to, if they play and you don't, they're going to win the game. Other teams compete against them. Other teams beat them. I mean, you can't just slack off when it gets late in the game. You got to keep focus.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. And so we get an off day going into Seattle. Seattle's the same boat as us. Very good home team. Horrible on the road, very winnable series, and so we just melted down in the bullpen because of some pretty horrible managerial mistakes. We start this game off, Hayden Birdsong goes 4 innings, looks all right, 80 pitches. We're pulling guys at Little League pitch counts this year. You'll see in the next 2 games. Before we even touch on the offense, which is just a complete shit show, I'm not going to lie to you. Birdsong goes 4, then Jelly comes in, gives up a run, blah, blah, blah. It's a tie. Offense looks great. 8th inning, we're up 5-1. We're at like a frat event. Just getting to know some guys down here. 5-1. I mean, vibes are great. Talking to Jake across at the party. It's a 5-minute walk home from that house we were at. Is it 5 minutes?
Yeah, just about. I mean, yeah.
And yeah, so no, 5-minute walk. We look at our phone. It's a tie ball game when we get back, and it's like, what the hell is happening? We look at the box score. Tyler Rogers, 0.0 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned. It's a really bad outing from Tyler. How can anybody in their right mind let a guy give up 6 consecutive singles?
I mean, you should have pulled him for Walker a long time ago. I mean, after, 1, maybe 2 runs come in, all right, he's got 3 hits. He keeps going. He's got 4 hits. Okay. All right, now we're up by 1 run, and there's a runner on third. Or second.
In a strikeout situation.
Yeah. What do we do here? Do we go to the pitcher that is known for striking out every single batter he faces and throws a lot of strikes and he's not going to walk a guy? Or do we go for the guy that pitches into deep flyouts and pop-outs and double plays that is a good 1-out pitcher with a runner on first? Well, we keep in Tyler Rogers, and he lets up 2 more singles after that. And all of a sudden, they have the lead. And if you know the Giants, you know that we can't score in the 10th inning. So you either score in the 9th or the game's over. And we didn't score in the ninth. So, yeah, you can pretty much assume what's going to happen from that point on. Don't even advance the runner to third. They go in, 1 out, boom, steal third, then base hit, game over, just like that. They played baseball how you're supposed to play baseball in the 10th inning. We, on the other hand, are just trying to hit hero home runs and throw the helmets and bats, but that's not going to happen every single time.
No, yeah, and so I hate to be the two guys that are like, wow, like managing a baseball team is so easy, because it's not. I mean, we've been in high school dugouts. We know a lot of college players. It's hard. Baseball's a weird game, but Ryan Walker comes in 2 innings, 5 strikeouts. Like, he strikes out 5 of the 6 batters he faces, 25 pitches, 20 strikeouts. That is as easy of a decision as I could ever make.
Yeah.
In a 5-3 ball game, bases juice, no outs. Bring in Walker, strikes out 3 or 4. We probably win this game.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. I mean, he's the guy that you can rely on. I mean, he doesn't like to blow games. He pitches well. He knows his role, and he doesn't want to lose it, so he pitches well.
Yeah, no, he pitches well. He understands the task at hand. And then just going in brief 10th inning, just want to shout out we had 18 strikeouts. Not really why we lost. It's a joke, but it's not why we lost. And so we get back to the dorm room. It's a tie game in extra innings. We're like, oh, shit. Fitzgerald comes up. He's already got the golden sombrero, 0 for 4 4Ks. Fitz ropes one up the middle. Diving play.
Yeah, that would have won us the game. I mean, he would have been on third probably if that gets by him. I mean, possibly could have scored again if we played the right type of baseball. Can't promise you anything, but yeah, I mean, one diving catch saved him the game. Yeah,
and then, of course, pretty similar hit that they get to walk it off. Don't even blame Miller for that one. It's not the bullpen's fault when they give up the ghost runner. This team's got to figure it out. There's not enough time to figure it out anymore, so we just got to figure it out, I guess, next year in the offseason. Brutal loss, back-to-back back-breaking losses to get back to 500. It's just kind of what this team's known for. We roll into game 2 of this series. We got a Snellzilla on the bump. Snell, I mean, 3 innings, 0 hits, 2 earned runs, 6 walks. I'm not going to rip on Snell.
The stuff was amazing, but he just couldn't find his spots, man. I mean, that's the problem he had early on in the year. Showed it again. I mean, he wasn't getting hit, but he wasn't throwing it where he needs to throw it in order to get him out. So 5 strikeouts in 3 innings. I mean, he must have just been throwing. I mean, I don't know what they were seeing up there. It might have been like an Orby because they couldn't hit it, but they sure as hell were knowing it wasn't in the zone because they were at 6 walks through 3 innings. That's 2 an inning. That's just unbelievable. I mean,
especially with this offense.
Yeah, I mean, offense bounced back a little bit. I mean, did it early, but I mean, what the heck?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. Yaz goes yard. Good for Yaz. He's he's had a pretty good
22-degree launch angle bomb. I mean, that thing is like wall scraper the second it leaves the bat.
Yeah, no, great swing from Yaz. Giants win this game. I mean, we won the game by 1, out-hit them by 7 hits. Close game when you walk. We walked 9 people that game. So
walked 9 people. We're 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. I mean, you're not going to win a lot of games like that. Duvall did look great. We do need to talk about Duvall, him coming back up. The 1.1 innings, pitches out of a jam.
Awesome
I mean,
stuff.
Great from Duvall. He wants his role back. In my opinion, you do not deserve it yet. Probably never again because Walker's the truth. But, I mean, it looked great. I mean, if you pitch well, you'll get your role. It might not be here, but you'll get it somewhere because your high is high, but your low is low.
As we've seen. Yeah, no, it was great to see Duvall come back. Obviously, fan base didn't quite turn on him, but, he had some pretty big issues, and I still think I'm not ready to give up on Duvall yet. He's shown some awesome stuff in his 3-4 years as a Giant. I don't even know how many years he's had. He's getting old somehow. It's making me feel old. But he looks great. I mean, especially because Walker's on starter rest. He throws 1 in every 5 days with Melvin. Good to have Duvall back and looking good, especially because we've kind of touched on him a little bit. Giants win the game 4-3, and before we get into the last game, it's miserable watching this team lose. I can't remember the last time we won a game, and it was like, wow, we looked good.
It was, I think, the Rockies game back at home, the opener to the series. Was that the opener?
It was the opener. It was 11-3. 11-3 win.
Yeah. Offense looked great. Pitching looked great. Kyle Harrison, 11 strikeouts.
Yeah, just hasn't happened.
That is the last time we looked good, and that was it in June?
2 weeks ago? It wasn't June, but I don't know when that was. It was 5 series ago, so it's 25 days or something like that. But
It's been a while.
Just not really fun baseball to watch. And I don't want to be negative, but it's hard not to be when we have. I saw a tweet. I don't know if it's accurate, but it's one of the higher payrolls that we've ever had as an organization, and are putting a product on the field like this. We'll touch on excuses or who to blame after we get into this last game. Rolling into the last game, need to win this series. Like, we got to start stacking series wins together. And so we start this game off. It's a Robbie Ray start. Robbie, 3 innings, gets hurt, of course. Classic.
And he was looking fine. I mean, 1 hit, 1 earned run in 3 innings. I mean, he could have kept it just right there and kept going. I mean, it's just really unfortunate because that could have been a difference maker because Jelly did not pitch a very great game. 2.2 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs, 3 earned. I mean, he's a great pitcher, but he just, he does hang it. He tends to hang the ball down the middle a lot with that heavy looping sinker that a lot of hitters can pick up. But, I mean, really, like, Jelly's got a lot of potential. He doesn't use his stride. He doesn't use his body. He just kind of slings it. He's 6'11". If this guy uses his body to his advantage, he could get off the mound with his hand past the pitcher's mound. I mean, that thing could come in there looking like 105 if he really, really used his body. But, I mean, yeah, he hasn't been looking great lately. Besides that, bullpen did look great. Offensive side of things were just kind of tragic. I mean, it was really just kind of a Ramos-McRae type of game, and that's really it.
Yeah, no, let's shout those guys out. I mean, it's awesome. Top of the first inning, Ramos hits one like 430. He had
high and in fastball, something he's been struggling with all year. Hammered it. And if he's hitting the fastball in, we got a problem for the league. He's just got to learn to lay off that high ball. And if that's there, we got ourselves a real superstar.
No, he's getting there, man. He hit 2 just towering shots to the pool side, which we haven't seen.
In 1 second deck.
In his young Giants career, and then just unfortunate seeing Ray give up a run right after that. McRae hits a bomb. McRae's looking really good, man, up to 306. He's just looked pretty fantastic, man.
Yeah, I mean, he had a late game bomb and then 9th inning walk that was huge. I mean, had a great at bat. I mean, the kid's up here, and I mean, he's seeing the ball. He's seeing the ball well. He's got an approach up there. He'll swing if he's looking for it and it's not there, but I mean, at least he's up there with an approach. And I mean, that's what a lot of hitters on this team struggle with, is what it seems like. But, I mean, yeah, he's showing flashes of power. I mean, he's one of the fastest guys in the league. He's got a great glove, one of the best arms I've ever seen out there in center field. I mean, he's borderline 5 tool. I mean, he strikes out here and there. I mean, but he's been looking really good up here so far.
No, he's definitely a guy. I think he's just got to play every day the rest of the 30 games because I'd like to see him start next year for sure.
Him and Jung-Hoo Lee.
Him, Lee, and Ramos.
Dude, the ball's not going to drop out there. That's exactly what this team needs.
No, it's a really good outfield.
The real question is, who do you play in center, Lee or McRae?
We got to see McRae a little more. I think right now it's probably McRae.
McRae's got the speed. They both got real similar arms. I mean, Jung-Hoo Lee's arm is outstanding. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, topping out at like 94 on the Crow Hop Pro out there, that's money. But I mean, he's fast too. I mean, he's got a damn good glove. He can lay out for a ball. But I mean, McRae, just see a little bit more out of the kid. I mean, those are 2 Gold Glove players in the outfield for sure.
It's a really good problem to have. And I mean, Ramos is a really good defender at the corners too.
Yeah, he's got a good arm
level, but he could be really good out there. And if you're hitting like that, I don't really care how you defend in the corners.
Definitely.
So it'll be interesting to watch. And Ramos and McRae, obviously both on cheap contracts. Jung-Hoo Lee, not super expensive at $18 million a year. Having young guys like that could maybe make us make a splash in the offseason.
But if we get a guy like Soto, I mean, DH, obviously I'm assuming if you keep McRae up here, if he continues to perform, I mean, what do you do with guys like Yastrzemski, Conforto, possibly Meckler, who's having a great season down at the River Cats right now? I mean,
I still like Matos as well.
Matos too. I mean, these guys have a lot of trade value. I mean, a bright future. These are young guys. I mean, I don't know why you don't just go full in right now. I mean, you've got guys. I mean, Ramos, he's ready to go. He's proven himself. He's going to be good. He's going to be good next year. I mean, you got to really go for it this offseason. You got to re-sign Chapman and Snell. Those are 2 guys that really help bring this team together. And I mean, you could bring a serious threat to the rest of the league if you really go out here and grab Soto or trade for Guerrero or do these things.
I definitely agree, and I don't know that I don't know that signing Soto is going to be a realistic thing, and we touched on it maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago. I don't know that it's a great thing for this team. I think I'd rather go trade for Guerrero, sign Willie Adames. I don't know that we're going to get Snell back, but there's enough to work with these young guys, man.
Yeah.
Fitz, Ramos, McRae, who else am I
Meckler.
missing? Yeah, Meckler
Meckler's
looks
been good.
really good.
We got Eldridge that could be up by halfway next year.
Oh my gosh.
He's a young guy. We've seen, Jackson Churio, Jackson Merrill. They're both 20 years old. We could see a guy like Eldridge be up next year pretty early on. It's not going to be opening day, but he could be up early depending on how well he's playing because he is raking right now.
No, yeah, let's chat about Eldridge. I don't have his exact stats. I'm putting up like his season stats, but did you see that 461-foot bomb he hit Oppo the other day?
Oppo.
It is.
He's
insane.
19 years old.
He's 2 months older than me, man, and he has. Trying to pull up the stats right now. While I'm doing that, just kind of touch on Eldridge for the listeners that maybe don't know him too well.
Eldridge, he was our first pick last year. It was, yeah. Drafted him as a two-way. Big lefty, 6'7", high heater, plays outfield, plays first base, can obviously DH the guy. Really confusing reason why we drafted back-to-back two-way players, Reggie Crawford then him, but he's really turned into a hitter, dropped the pitching aspect of his game, and he's really, really proven himself on the hitting side of things. Played in the Future Stars game, had a base hit. He's been really good down there, and he's still only 19 years old. He's got so much time to develop, and he's already making a big impact down there in Single A. So definitely something to look out for next year. Bryce Eldridge, he is our future, I believe.
No, for sure. He's 19 years old, playing in High A, which is really good. High A stats this year, 153 ABs. He's got 7 bombs. In his professional career, 467 ABs, which is like 2/3 of a season, 23 home runs. The juice is off the charts in High A in 42 games, which is not normal for a 19-year-old to be playing in High A. Hitting .307, on-base percentage .421, slugging percentage .503, OPS of .924. He's going to be a 30 home run guy, potentially 40.
He's got the size and the strength for it, man. He's only going to get stronger, and he's only going to get a better eye.
6'7", 225. He's a mammoth of a human being. He's sitting, I think he's the number 54 prospect in the entire league. Is it an overreaction to say I think if he keeps this up, he could be top 15, maybe top 10 for the start of next year?
Start of next year, they don't like to screw around with the rankings that much, especially with the guys that they really like to stick to, the top 10 picks. They automatically have them in the top 10 just because they're a high draft pick. Like Kobe Mayo, for example, he's a great ball player, but he was up there quick. He top 10 quick. Bryce Eldridge, I don't know about the start of next year, but I think if he makes an impact in Double and Triple A early next year, if he gets that high, then I most definitely think he can get up there. He's definitely going to be recognized. He's definitely going to be really highly anticipated. I think the whole league's ready for him. If they're not, get ready. But yeah, I think maybe not at the beginning, in my opinion, but I think he will definitely reach there before he gets brought up if he keeps this up.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't know that I've been this excited about a prospect in a very long time. Obviously, we didn't even touch on Luciano. He's still a pretty good prospect. We should probably trade him the way we're treating him. He's just getting treated like he's probably, if he wanted to sue the Giants for like malpractice or employee rights, he probably has a case in court. But Eldridge looks awesome. That's just positive minor league roundup. Bryce Eldridge looks great. First round pick James Tibbs the third just got called up to Eugene too. Wish I could go catch a game in Eugene. Eldridge is hitting 3, Tibbs is hitting 4. That's the future right there. Rolled into the next segment. Just gonna open it up for a question. Is this team better with Gabe Kapler? If he did, not saying Kapler was a good manager, but this is
with
rough.
The squad we have right now. I think Gabe Kapler manages it better. He managed the bullpen so well in 2021. These were guys that all had career years, because the way they were positioned and the way they were used in the game. Don't get me wrong, I am not a fan of Gabe Kapler managing a baseball team, but the way Melvin has been this year, as such a highly anticipated manager to bring this team to a playoff spot with the guys that we have, we're looking at 81-81 again right now. It's the definition of mid. I I think Melvin's definitely not the worst manager in the game, but he's certainly definitely not in the top 50 percentile in my opinion.
Oh.
He has been awful this year. I mean, for how excited everyone was. I mean, if you're going to get rid of him, which I hope you should, just get rid of Farhan while you're at it too, because he has been awful. He had one magic year that was not his doing. It was all just everyone had a career year. Posey came back, played the best game of his year. Crawford was third in MVP voting. Belt had 29 home runs and 320 at-bats, whatever it was. All these guys played the best baseball, and it was nothing to do with Farhan and how he managed the team. But yet he keeps his job for the 6th year, and we have not gone to the playoffs.
No, it's absolutely insane. I'm not going to sit here and be like, I didn't like the Melvin hire at the time, because I saw Bob Melvin got hired, and I got really excited. Listened to a couple other podcasts, Locked On podcasts, maybe the Murph and Mac show. I don't know if that's still going. I think it's Murph and Marcus now. But, I mean, they said, like, and it was fair. Bob Melvin's probably going to be in the Hall of Fame. Was a great manager. I mean, they said he's probably going to be his WAR, like he's going to help us win 4 or 5 games. And I think it's been the opposite. I think he's lost us 4 or 5 games.
He's a negative WAR type of guy.
And I don't know that it's all Melvin, but his bullpen management has been atrocious. There's no defending some of these decisions. That's where I will give it to Kapler. I can't. I'll be with Jake. We aren't going to lie to our viewers or our listeners. Hated Kapler. Texted my grandpa all the time how much I hate Kapler. I hate the way he runs a lineup. I hated everything about it. The platoons. I appreciate that Melvin doesn't platoon as much, but the bullpen's been awful. It's been a fireable offense. And so we're sitting 1 game above 500. Are we back at 500? I think
we're back at 566 and 66.
Awesome. But who do you blame for this? Do you blame the players underperforming, like a Soler, a Snell early on? Do you blame the management? Do you blame Bob Melvin, Jason Vielli? Who's our pitching coach? Is it Matt Price?
I think so.
Matt Price. Do you blame the coaching staff, or do you blame mainly the roster construction that Farhan in the front office has put together?
I think the roster this year, it's got the potential. It's a good roster. I mean, guys are getting hurt. There's nothing you can do about that. But I feel like it is a big management problem and how we're taking games and what's going on inside the clubhouse. All these guys have talent. It's clear it's there, but the way it's being used is just not the right way to win ball games, if that makes sense. But yeah, we can't just kind of screw around with the bullpen. Got to have the right hitting mindset when you got runners in scoring position. All these things you have to look for and really pay attention to, because the guys have talent. It's just not being used the right way. So I think it's more a managing problem. But hitters have got to learn to hit with runners in scoring position. The talent's there. I don't know what's going to do it, but something's got to do it.
No, yeah, I completely agree. And I don't think it's a good roster. You got Snell, Webb, Ray's not bad. Birdsong and Harrison are pretty good. Chapman was a great signing. I'll give him that. Yeah. He found Fitz. Did he draft Fitz? I think Farhan drafted Fitz.
Yeah.
Well,
2019.
It was a Farhan draft pick, though, correct? Okay, so awesome job there. Maybe it wasn't his call to have Ramos play this year, but he found Ramos. I'll give him that.
Yep.
Jung looked like a great signing. So, I really dislike Farhan. I hate to say this. I didn't think I'd ever be saying this live on air, but I think Farhan, he's probably earned one more offseason. Would you agree?
We signed these guys. We got a lot of good signings, but now is when it really matters. When you're on the come up, you have the guys to do it. Get the finishing piece. And if you can't do that, then you can't be a GM for this baseball team. Yeah. It's been so long since we've had a good run. Something's got to change.
Yeah, no, so I don't know that we'll clean the house. Obviously, you'll probably see Farhan and Melvin here next year, so it's not even worth
81 and 81 is not going to get rid of people.
No, and so honestly, I hate to. 81 and 81 is rough. It's been
especially
really
with the team that we
hard
have
year as a Giants fan. But if you look forward to 2025, you get Jung-Hoo Lee back. Curious to see what the offseason looks like. You touched on the finishing piece right there. Give me 3 moves to get this Giants team to 90 wins next year.
Go out, get another infielder that can play defense and hit the baseball.
I'll hop in there. I think Willie Adames would be perfect for this team.
He's great. Might need a new designated hitter. Might need someone who can hit for contact and power at the same time. Maybe play a little first base, guy like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And, go out, get a couple bullpen pieces, get some young guys, get some guys that can throw hard, get the guys that have command. I mean, you got Webb. He's a big piece of this team. Knows how to run, knows how to teach the younger. I mean, one finishing touch. I mean, Ray has been really iffy. Who knows if this offseason will really help him. I think he's got a lot of potential if he has a whole offseason of just full 100% health. Snell, if he doesn't return, I think we got to go after one more starting pitcher.
I agree.
But because if we get like Adames or Guerrero or an Alonso or someone who can hit the ball, then that's really all you can ask for because we have all the pieces besides that one thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I think if you had to give me 3 moves, it's 1, you got to re-sign Chapman. I think that's non-negotiable. I heard he's...
no, definitely.
Is he a Boros guy? I think he might be. I'm not 100% sure, not to say anything, but we're starting to talk to him a little bit. Rumor has it he's looking for $100 million plus. I'd probably give him 5 for 100 just because you know what you're getting every day with Chapman. That's what I'd do there. I love Fitz at short, so I don't know that you need Willie Adames, but I'd enjoy it.
I'd slide Fitz to second maybe if Estrada really doesn't show up.
Estrada sucks.
Estrada
can't start
this year
for this team next year.
Has been bad. Great defensively, but last year he was phenomenal. I mean, 2020 was hitting 270. I mean, great season for a second baseman. But it's like slide a guy like Fitz over to second, get Willie Adames, boom. Fitz's defense, it's good. He's got range, but it's just not. He doesn't make it as routine as some guys make it look. He's no Brandon Crawford.
No, yeah, nobody's Crawford, and so I'm re-signing Chapman. I'd like a middle-of-the-order bat, so it's got to be a Vlad. Vlad is like dream scenario Vlad, but if you settle for like Willie Adames, it's okay with me. Would obviously like to go after Soto. That's not realistic, but you need a middle-of-the-order bat. You got one in Ramos. You have a true leadoff guy with Fitz or Jung-Hoo Lee. So you go Fitz, Jung-Hoo Lee, Ramos, sign somebody. Hopefully it's Adames or a trade for Guerrero. Chapman. It's a really good lineup right there. You get Conforto out of there. We have the payroll. We have the payroll to go make one move like that. I hope we can bring Snell back. I don't know that we're going to bring Snell back, but I mean, yeah, it's an interesting spot to be. There's enough to work with. This team's got to make the playoffs next year, though.
Yeah, definitely. Everything's here except one little thing, and if that doesn't follow through, then something's got to change.
Yeah, and we'll see if they actually do that. Sitting 5 games out, do you think there's any realistic chance this team makes the playoffs sitting here looking at me into my eyes?
It would take a miracle. It really would. It's not a 25% chance. It's not a 15% chance. I'd say it's closer to 5 at this point.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, unless something crazy happens and they turn into their 2021 selves, then I just don't think there's a chance.
Yeah, no, it's bad. We'll keep sticking with you. We'll keep sticking with this team. We got some cool guests lined up for you guys. Giants playoff odds right now are at 2.9%, so even you were higher than that. It is almost October, so we can all root against the Dodgers here pretty soon. That's going to wrap up this episode. If you do want to hop on the podcast, just DM us on X at GiantHot_takes. We got some awesome guests coming up here pretty soon. Make sure to like and subscribe to this. We appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm Jack.
And I'm Jake.
Thank you for tuning in.